In March 1975, David Bowie teamed up with John Lennon on the song Fame. It became one of his defining moments, but beneath the collaborations and chart-topping success, Bowie's story wasn't just about reinvention, it was also about rivalry. Unlike many of his peers, Bowie was never fully tied to London's 60s music scene. He admired artists like Lou Reed, acknowledging that what Reed was doing felt unavoidably right, but he refused to become a simple clone of the Velvet Underground. Bowie always carved out his own lane, even if it meant making enemies along the way. In the dazzling yet cutthroat world of rock and roll, few figures commanded the same mix of respect and fear as David Bowie. Known as the Thin White Duke, he was a chameleon who transformed himself over and over, reshaping popular culture with every persona. But Bowie wasn't just a master of music and image. He was also a perfectionist with sky-high standards and a razor-sharp tongue. His cutting remarks could end careers, and he held grudges with a fire that lasted decades. Behind the costumes and stage theatrics was a man who despised certain peers, not just because of disagreements, but because of what they represented. In the music industry, some betrayed his trust, others he viewed as cheap imitators. The result was a long list of rivals that reads like a who's who of music royalty. Welcome to Legends Uncovered, where we reveal the untold stories of music's biggest icons. Today, we're diving into the shocking truth about David Bowie's most hated rivals. From old friends turned enemies to cultural titans locked in silent wars, these feuds weren't minor creative differences. They were battles that shaped the history of rock. So buckle up as we count down the 6 musicians who, by all accounts, made David Bowie's blood boil. 6. Mick Jagger. Coming in at number 6 is one of the most surprising names, Mick Jagger, the legendary frontman of the Rolling Stones. Once among Bowie's closest friends, Jagger eventually became one of his bitterest rivals, with professional jealousy and personal betrayal turning their bond toxic. In the 1970s, the two were inseparable. They partied together, shared homes, and fueled London's glam rock explosion. But by the mid-1980s, everything had changed. Their collaboration on Dancing in the Street for Live Aid is now infamous. According to music journalist Paul Trinka, Bowie told studio engineers that working with Jagger was like trying to direct a peacock who thinks he invented pouting. Witnesses at the video shoot claimed Bowie stormed off multiple times, frustrated by Jagger's need to dominate every camera shot. The final straw came in 1987, when Jagger mocked Bowie's acting career in an interview. Bowie never responded publicly, but friends say he cut off all ties, dismissing Jagger as a glorified backup dancer who forgot he was in a band. 5. Phil Collins at number 5 is Phil Collins, the former Genesis drummer turned pop superstar. To Bowie, Collins was the embodiment of everything wrong with 1980s commercial music. The rivalry reportedly began in 1984, when Collins was topping charts with easy-listening pop hits, while Bowie was experimenting with more challenging material. According to journalist Kurt Loder, Bowie once told executives at a London dinner party, "Phil represents the death of artistry. He's turned music into emotional fast food for people who don't want to think." For Bowie, Collins's rise symbolized the commercialization of rock. While Bowie pushed boundaries, Collins was dominating with what Bowie derisively called divorce music for middle managers, safe, sentimental ballads crafted for radio. Their tensions peaked during 1985's Live Aid, where Collins received thunderous applause for Against All Odds. Witnesses claimed Bowie muttered to his band, the audiences applauding their own mediocrity. Collins himself always spoke kindly of Bowie, seemingly unaware of the contempt. But to Bowie he was proof that true artistry was being replaced by calculated mass-market sentimentality. 4. Madonna crashing in at number 4 is Madonna, the queen of pop herself. Bowie reportedly saw her as a shameless imitator who stole his reinvention techniques and watered them down for mass appeal. The feud began in 1984 when Madonna burst onto the scene with provocative looks and ever-changing images. Bowie wasn't impressed. At a New York gallery opening, he allegedly told friends, "This woman thinks reinvention means changing costumes. She's confused marketing with artistry." What truly enraged him was Madonna's disregard for the underground movements that had inspired Bowie's transformations. While he drew from avant-garde theater and art, she, in his eyes, was using focus group rebellion, manufactured controversy designed purely for media buzz. The tension exploded in 1985 when Madonna credited herself at an award show as a pioneer of gender-bending performance art. Bowie was reportedly disgusted, telling his publicist, "She's rewriting history to make herself the inventor of everything I've been doing for 15 years." To Bowie, Madonna embodied the worst of celebrity culture, all spectacle, no soul. Elton John sliding into number 3 is Elton John, a feud that lasted decades and split British rock royalty. Their rivalry stretched back to the early 1970s, when both were glam rock icons. According to historian Paul Gambaccini, Bowie once quipped, in the studio, "Elton thinks louder costumes equal deeper artistry. The man confuses spectacle with substance, and somehow the world buys it." Their feud came to a head in 1975 during a backstage incident at Wembley Stadium, where Elton reportedly upstaged Bowie during a photo op. Bowie stormed off, telling his manager, "I don't compete with cartoon characters." Though they had occasional public reconciliations, insiders say Bowie never respected Elton's work. He dismissed it as cruise ship cabaret and therapy sessions wrapped in sequins. To Bowie, Elton had committed the ultimate sin, making deep music seem shallow. 2. Lou Reed at number 2 is Lou Reed, one of the most painful feuds of Bowie's life. Their relationship began as a mentorship in 1972, when Bowie produced Reed's Transformer album, helping him craft hits like Walk on the Wild Side. But things soured quickly. Reed publicly downplayed Bowie's role, calling him little more than a pretty face who got lucky. Bowie felt utterly betrayed. He reportedly told friends, "I pulled Lou from the gutter, and he repaid me by trying to push me into it." The final break came in 1973 when Reed stormed out of a session saying, "I don't need some glam rock puppet telling me how to make real music." Bowie never forgave him, later describing Reed as an ungrateful junkie who mistakes cynicism for depth. For Bowie, Lou Reed was the ultimate betrayal, an idol turned enemy. 1. John Lennon, and finally, at number 1, John Lennon. This revelation will shock many, but Lennon reportedly became Bowie's most despised rival. The clash began in the mid-1970s when Bowie was recording Young Americans and Lennon was moving into political songwriting. Bowie allegedly told studio musicians, "John thinks singing about peace makes him profound. He's become a greeting card philosopher who's forgotten how to write songs." Lennon, in turn, mocked Bowie's glam rock as posturing nonsense. At a 1975 New York session, Lennon ridiculed Bowie's thin white duke persona. Bowie snapped back, "At least I don't pretend my privileged whining is going to save the world." Even after Lennon's tragic death in 1980, Bowie reportedly carried resentment, saying Lennon had abandoned true artistry for hollow activism. To Bowie, Lennon was the greatest disappointment of all, a genius who traded innovation for moral preaching.
Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon.